It's 7:05, and we're going to proceed opening the meeting of the Commission on Disabilities. This meeting is being recorded. It is Monday, November 3rd. And I'm calling the meeting to order. I do have a flag here. Do I need to do a roll call before we do the flag?
Usually you do for attendance.
Okay, so Paul, he's here. Judy,
Here.
Janice,
Here.
I'm here. And we have Bill Renault and Nico Moody. So we say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Sure.
I pledge allegiance
to the
flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
I have the flag. Okay, so the mission statement is our mission is to address the needs and concerns of our disabled residents and provide their full participation in the activities and services of Wakefield. Janice very nicely has sent out the minutes of the last three meetings of September 8th, September 22nd, and October 6th.
I don't think we can approve them though, right? I guess we can't vote.
Well, you got 4 of you. How many are on the commission as a whole? Usually
right now, there's only
4.
8.
There's 8.
Yes, right now there's 8.
Why don't we just wait until next meeting?
You can do that.
Then we'll have more of a chance to look them over and
Okay.
everybody can see them.
Okay, that sounds good. So yes, we'll table them until the December meeting. Lois isn't here to give us the financial report for October, which probably hasn't changed much since it was in September or June. And so let's go right into the meat of the program of the meeting. And I promised Bill Renault he'd have the stage first.
Well, you don't have to do that, but thank you. So I forwarded you folks an email towards the end of last week, kind of updating on that lower common path plan based on Tim's discussion with you folks at your last meeting. So he came up with essentially just coming off of Church Street down and kind of creating like a little loop around the gazebo. And a conceptual cost for that in the about 56,000, probably a little bit more than that, but right around 56,000 is what he's saying. So I guess kind of talking next steps and what would happen. So this would in all likelihood require town council approval. So the question is, do we want to start moving forward in that direction? Like what I can do is I can draft up a draft letter to them under your for your behalf, for your signature, and then we can forward that along to them, requesting to have the path installed at the lower common, or we can go to the upper the Colonel Conley area and do that small little section. I know the Friends are looking to donate a chunk of dough for the shade structure, and I'm not sure really, and I know how much Tim got into this, how much support that they're going to have for that, to be honest with you. So, but we have a conceptual sketch for that you saw last week, and you know, I'm happy to bring both at the same time, or you can ask the Friends to come on and see what they want to do. If you want to dovetail it as one letter from both of you folks for the stuff on Colonel Conley, any of those options, But ultimately, even if we decide that we want to spend our funds on it, I gotta get approval. So
And I think it would be wise for us to approach Friends of Lake Quantipout
yeah,
to
Never
let them know what's going on. Do they meet regular? Do they have posted meetings? Is that a?
yeah, they're meeting them. I know they have a meeting tomorrow with the board.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they've been asking me for information on that.
So this is something we also can't vote on tonight, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I would say you'd want to hold off. I mean, I thought typically a quorum is only 4, but I mean, if you have 4 of you, I can't imagine that wouldn't be a quorum. But it's up to you if you want to wait. I mean, I don't have that info readily available, unfortunately.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out whether a quorum was one more than half of whatever the membership is. So which means if it was one more than half, we needed 5 members at the meeting, but
I think it would be whatever the minimum amount that you need to have to be a commission, and then that one more than a half is what I would think it was. But I don't have the answer on that, to be honest with you. So if you want to play it safe, we could always throw it in for a conversation in December. Regardless, it's not going to get built till the spring either way.
Yeah, so that's probably the best idea. I would personally like to say that I'm thrilled to see the design around the gazebo. It is exactly what I had in mind. I think it will be a really nice addition to loads of programs that have been there, and even just people enjoying the area. And it looked like that funding also did include the curb cut that would be, so.
Yeah, that's not a big lift.
Personally, so, I thought that the cost factor was very reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing that, so since D started, that we've been discussing is kind of how projects get initiated here, because I get a lot of requests from a lot of different folks, a lot of individual board members that aren't talking to their board. This one's a little different because you folks are all on board with it and moving forward as a board, but I will get questions and projects from just individual board members. And historically, we've moved those forward to some degree to let the board then discuss it after the fact. So I think what Dee's looking to do is kind of centralize how this all happens for projects so that, we're not wasting time on other initiatives. And there's kind of a process to get a project approved, which we're going to be talking about, I think, over the next couple of months too. So we can kind of dovetail all of these conversations into one, hopefully, and kind of make my life a little easier. So I'm not pulled in a million directions for everybody. It would be awesome. But like I said, I get the idea of the project. Obviously we'll have stuff with Envision that we're looking to do down the road, but that's currently not programmed up to 2030 right now. So it's going to be well beyond 2030 that we even start looking at our downtown revitalization project that includes Church Street. So, I mean, this would dovetail into it anyway. So I'm not concerned about installing it prior to that either.
So Bill, did you mention before that there was some grant monies available for some of this type of thing, or not?
Well,
specifically?
we have a budget. So we have been going to town meeting and getting ADA funds. So we have currently remaining, I have about $28,000 from our transition plan, which is getting finalized. So I'll probably be using another 15 of that, and then we'll have a balance of about 13,000 in that account. And then we also received a second one. And right now we have about $1,000 in that one, and I could have sworn we got another one.
Which the one that has the 50,000, Bill?
Well, that was the one that we moved forward with. Remember when we moved forward to do the
plan,
the elevator and that plan?
Building,
so that took up a good chunk of that.
But this is, nearing the end. Does that run on a fiscal year, or does that run on a calendar year?
Well, it runs on a fiscal. Typically, these are fiscal year projects, but capital stuff can go beyond the fiscal, and they often do. Yeah. So what we do is they'll just kind of carry it forward for us, as long as we have a game plan to use it. So, say I didn't touch a budget, at all, you know. But I was like, oh, we're looking to, you know, I'm waiting on proposals, or this is what we were trying to decide what we wanted to spend it on, or whatever it may be.
And do we have the line that you're talking about? Is that within the capital budget for ADA? Okay.
Yeah, yep, yep. It was brought up actually, I think at the last town meeting, right, in spring. I want to say Scott McCauley might have brought it up and said, hey, what is this plan to be used for? And we talked about that. So it's kind of like an annual appropriation that they do, depending on where we sit with monies. I send in a bunch of requests, but all this process is getting tightened up with the new town administrator. So there's going to be a much different process. So I would be coming to you folks when we start budgeting early next year for fiscal 27, yep, for fiscal 27.
So am I correct that the smaller project by the playground, this funding could take care of that?
Yeah, I think it was 30-something thousand for that. So we definitely have the budget to make that happen.
Okay.
Cobbling those two accounts together.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're both really important projects. My personal thought is, since you already seem to have the funding for the one that the Friends of the Lake Quannapowitt have an interest in, maybe it makes sense to move forward with that one immediately, as soon as you can. And then we'll keep the plan for the gazebo area would be kind of the next step in the process.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think that's the best approach, because I think you're going to get some pushback. So I think trying to do it quick this year, I wouldn't expect it to just go through. I think you folks are going to have to, you know, depending on how we do the article, it could be an article that's pulled out separate, so folks talk about it and you folks present it. I mean, it can be that way, where I can help you, or if one of you wants to get up there and do it. It's usually pretty straightforward stuff, and obviously I'm there to answer questions and support. But
so what would the timeline be if we? I first of all, Judy, I agree with you. I think that go forward with everything that's already been laid out, discussed, approved. This is relatively new. It's not new to us, but it will be new to everybody else.
Yes.
And I very much think we need to speak with Friends of Lake Quannapowitt, see because if they have massive objections to doing this, we'll have to talk them into it, because it really
might be difficult, but yes.
It might be difficult, but we're pretty good at explaining why.
Yeah, personally, I think it makes a ton of sense. So
yeah, it's shocking that it's never happened before. And it would be, I think it should be the next priority after Colonel Connolly end of the lake, totally take care of that. And then this one, we'll approach who needs to be approached, and we'll, as funds are accumulated, we'll keep them aside for this. We'll have to vote on that at some point in time officially, but you know, if we can do that. Did you say, I missed what you said and I wanted to get it in the minutes, this is inclusive of or not inclusive of the curb, the change in the curbing? It's right.
That's all included in the cost. Yeah.
Okay. Because it's granite curbing all along the edge of the sidewalk, right?
Yeah. Okay. So what he did have to do, they'd have to pull out a section of it and then just kind of make a little corner for it to come through.
Okay. All right.
And I mean, honestly, both of these are smaller scale projects. So, you know, we can even look, if we're not bidding it, to try to get it even cheaper. But yeah, like I was saying, I think the bigger question is on it being done on the lower common, and that'll be the public approval process will be pretty critical for that. Make sure everyone's on board.
Do you think it would be wise of us to attend Friends of Lake Quannapowitt immediately, or hold off until we really?
There's a couple ways you could do it. I mean, you probably have a couple of you talk to the friends and get their thoughts on it. I mean, I think that you can always talk to folks, you know, as long as it's not 3 or 4 of you folks going there and having a quorum to do stuff. That's usually when you get into trouble. So, you know, I think one of you can go talk about this and say, you know, here's a thought that we had. We've asked the town engineer to look at it.
And they have public comment time as well? Is
They
this an-
do, well, they're kind of, they're not town, so they're a
Right,
different.
they're not town. That's my
Yeah,
question.
so they don't have to follow any of that stuff.
Okay.
They're, you know,
All right.
they're a volunteer board, so.
What do you think about inviting that group to come to one of our meetings?
Mhm.
You could do that too, if that's what you want to do. I'm sure that they would be happy to. I mean, they're good group.
I'd like
The
to see-
board's pretty
yeah.
good. They're good
I'd
folks.
like to see us do that,
Okay.
and then we can kind of all discuss the project.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So we can approach them outside of a meeting because they're not an official town board and, get on their agenda to say,
Yeah.
Judy, I think that's a great idea that we should have them come to our meeting and we can explain things. And if they want to, see the drawings, they would be able to see those. We can
Yeah.
share that schematic.
Yeah,
with you.
I mean, I can get you folks on an email thread together if that's easier. You want to do something like that? Where it goes, say, if someone want to take the lead and be the liaison, you can do
Well,
that.
personally, I would like to invite them to the December meeting.
Okay.
And then maybe as part of the invite, we can say, following the meeting, we have some documents that if you're interested, we could have Bill send you. Is that something we could do?
Yeah, or you can send it ahead of time too. I mean, I'm happy to facilitate the email to them and get them here and say, here's what they've been talking about. Do you have some that are interested in getting your feedback on it at the next
All right, well,
the
I
December
think that
meeting?
we should put them into our December agenda to
Okay.
invite their group.
All
I
right.
think
And
I
then,
think that's a good idea.
Bill, one of the things that might make sense is at that December meeting, could you like screen share and like we did for, that's how we learned about it. And then everybody could see it at the same time. We could discuss it. How about that?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, why don't we see if we can put that on the December agenda?
Okay.
So do you, yes, to the question of could you link us up
Yep.
with Friends of Lake Quantipower, whoever is in charge of that group right now?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll get Marie and their chair on board. Their board's like there's a group of them that usually kind of go in a pack, so I'll hit them up, and we can have a quick conversation on what makes sense. And I'd be surprised if they wouldn't come. I'd be shocked.
Okay, so just to clarify, so Bill, are you willing to invite their group to our December meeting? Oh, that
I'll take care of it all.
would probably
Yep.
be easiest.
Oh, of course. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
And you'll CC Marie on that message.
Of course.
And so somebody should probably let Marie know in advance that
I can
We're doing
always
this.
be in contact with Marie and let her know.
that would be great. Yeah, so
Thank
she's
you.
not surprised by it. Good. That sounds great.
Cool. Well, that's an easy one. So second one, and it would have been great if Dan and Lois were here, but one of the questions that I received, or a comment I received from Dan Lieber recently, was on a new hearing system that he deployed in another community that he liked. And one of the cool things about it is that it adapts to phones and any type of hearing thing you have with you. So it's not the T-coil system, it's like a different system. So I didn't know if you folks had some interest in maybe like a field visit, take a peek at it, see if it makes sense, or if you have some folks that might be interested in giving it a shot to see if this is something that we'd want to consider, especially with the high school being built. I mean, we would have time to obviously make a switch at this point. They're not.
And what
at a
town
point
was
where
it
the AV spot.
What town was it that has the new equipment? in it?
Winchester, and I don't know what
thought it
the
was
building is.
Winchester.
I don't know what the building is. I'm not sure if it's a church or if it's something else. I'm not sure if it's town, but he had mentioned it to me, gave me a location of it in an email. And
We can also contact the Mass Commission for Deaf and Hard of Hearing. The IT person there is brilliant. Hopefully he's still there.
Jonathan O'Dell.
Yeah, Jonathan O'Dell. Is he's still there?
far as I know, I mean, it was, I think, last year or the year before, but I
Oh,
haven't,
good. So,
I don't know if it still is.
we can find out the name. And who is Dan
So
Lieber?
Dan Lieber, you know Dan Lieber if you go to town meeting. He's usually up there speaking. He's the one
Okay.
that's doing the he's on the bylaw review committee. He's the chair of that.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So he's the person that was asking for the teletype that we do at town meeting a while back. So which is good. That's a good suggestion.
Can you get us the name of the system or get us connected to
I have it
Dan?
right now.
Oh, you do.
I
All
do.
right.
It's Williams AV Auracast.
Could you spell that last word?
Auracast. AURACAST.
Cast. All right. I'd be very willing to reach out to Jonathan and find out what he knows about it.
Okay.
And I'd be, and I don't know, Lorna and maybe Dan, would anybody else be interested in doing a little field trip over to Winchester? I'd be
Sure,
very
I
interested in doing
definitely
that.
would be interested in that.
Yeah. So my understanding is that the new hearing aids and whatnot, they have, like a phone app connection component to it now. So this
They
allows
do,
you to
yeah.
sync up to it. So whatever you
Yeah.
already have and you're using would able to be used with this system, it sounds pretty cool. So
That sounds great.
yeah, Dan's saying that the T-Core thing is kind of like the old technology and that's kind of getting
Mhm.
phased out. I mean, I wouldn't know, but
So you think there is actually time to make the switch for the high school?
I would imagine, yeah, at this point, I mean, they're not, I don't even think they're on finishes yet inside. I mean, they're still closing off the envelope. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, we had talked about it to make sure it was there. I'd hope that it would come to me anyway, just for when the shop drawings are submitted. But
Okay, any more discussion around that? Okay, Bill, is there anything else that you wanted to share with
no,
us?
that's all I had for
That
now.
could
Yeah,
let you
I
go
don't
on to your
have an
next
update.
meeting?
Yeah, I don't have an. I can give you some more updates at the next one for sure, but I don't. I reached out to the design engineer for our for the elevator at the ACE building, and I didn't hear back from him for this meeting, but we're trying to get this thing squared away for next year's one-stop grant when that opens up. And there's a couple changes that we need to make to some documents that the town has to make us eligible for that grant. So we're working on the background on that too. So we'll be ready next year to go after the $500,000 that they have for a grant, which is cool.
That would be awesome if we got the money.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
I'd be very
just out
happy
of
to do anything that's written. I think I mentioned that to you before. I've
Yeah.
done massive amounts of grant writing and grant reviews,
Sure.
probably 100 different grant review sessions. So I'd be very happy to review anything that anybody.
Yeah.
I couldn't do the substance, but I could certainly do the, look it over.
For sure. Yeah. I'll provide you that. That makes a ton of sense. Always like an extra set of eyes. But Erin and I usually do a pretty solid job on these things. So we've been lucky getting a ton of grants. So she's a great asset to have on that.
Bill, what is the story on the well, I'm going to call it the old Shawmut, the bank that was beside that was going to build the condos off the back of it, and
Oh, with the bridge and all that, the old Shawmut. So my mother used to work there when it was a Shawmut. So that's the only reason I know that. But yeah, so as far as I know, it's still approved. They're getting financing, and they were looking to move forward with it. It's not a dead project.
I don't know. I keep on seeing the sign out in front of the building every once in a while saying for lease or for sale.
Or
And
for sale. Yeah, maybe
it's
they
like,
want to
I don't know
sell
if
it
they're
off.
talking about the building or what. I mean, that's
I think they were looking condos at one point, maybe for the housing. So that might be part of it. I'm not sure. Usually I don't get into all that.
I
I
mean,
get
it just didn't
plugged
say
in.
much on the sign. It just said for lease or for sale. And I said, geez, I didn't think the building was for sale again, but.
Yeah, maybe they found that, the build out that they wanted to do isn't going to work, or they didn't have the market for it. But, I'm not too sure. Or maybe they want to sell off the restaurant and keep the residential, right? I mean, that could be an option. So, well, usually what happens is once they get all that stuff squared away, it comes to me usually during building permit process. So that's when I know something about it. But we
And
still
for
have
parking-
access to, but with that project, before they get their building permit, they have to finalize a granted easement for us to get better access to the back of that building, if we choose to go with a access through the back to get to the first floor, rather than trying to do something up front.
And that brings up another subject. Would they be like at least one handicap parking space out back, close to where our entrance would be for somebody to park there and be able to, no?
No, the only thing I'd be able to do, what I was planning to do was to put one on the street that would be the accessible space right at the driveway, and then folks could get in through there. That's what I was planning. If we go through the front, obviously we have to bump out the sidewalk, and to get the access to be able to do that, you still need that ADA access around it, right? So, so that's kind of a challenge on that side, because you'd lose a space for the bump out, and then you'd also have to move one of the handicap spaces to that location too, right? So folks can get on. So there are challenges with both approaches, unfortunately, but once we figure out our cost of the elevator, I think that's kind of first piece, and then we'll get the access to the first floor as like the next phase. But we're looking at. I think I had brought it up to you a few times before, folks, about a couple of options for like kind of these smaller like lift systems that can be done outside, and we have easements now, so we could always protect it and figure out a way to get that to work if that's the approach we decide to go. But it's a challenge. They're all challenges, but we find solutions.
Especially with old buildings.
Those are the worst. Yes, agreed. So, so we have that. The new website. I don't know if you folks have gone to the new website, but that has a bunch of new accessible features to it. That was half the reason we went with the vendor we did. So, we have compliance deadlines for in a couple of years here to have all of our stuff up there completely accessible. The big thing that we have to work on is like our PDFs that get linked up to the website and having like narratives of what those are. That's like the big process change that we have to instill here. So we're, Jen and I have been working on that and
Bill,
develop some type of protocol for it.
Can you put an HTML version of the document up? Would that?
The requirement is that if you click on it, there's like a hover feature, right? When we have these things already on there, right? And so if you click on it, it gives you a narrative of what the plan is.
Mm-hmm.
So we run into a lot of stuff like when I'm putting a plan up is a good example, right? So say there's a zoning district or something, or we have to describe the zoning district so somebody would be able to understand what it is. It's not necessarily a huge definition going into it, like it's not a 2-page document, but like a paragraph kind of explaining the overall gist of what it is, and then pinging somebody to see me if they need me to walk them through something.
I think that's much more complicated than anything we would post. Obviously, plans are visual.
Yeah, it's the visual stuff, like trying to get that. So we also need the background. So like when we have a photo that's the background, that needs something to hover over to say, okay, this is a picture of the lower common and the gazebo, or this is a picture of the, I don't know, whatever.
But for things such as the minutes of our meeting, would it suffice to have an HTML version of that posted along with it, or would it suffice to say you can request an accessible version of this document? It's easier if it's just posted, because then we don't have to go through the process.
I think we're good either way. I mean, most of the readers, because the website has its own reader kind of built into it too. So if you click on it, you have that accessibility feature. So, maybe if you want to take a stab at that, I mean, I can do the same thing before next month, and we can see if there's, which way we want to go.
Okay.
Obviously, we have some time to kind of nail all this stuff down, but ideally, I'd like to have kind of an SOP for staff and anything that's getting posted.
Mhm.
That make sure it happens.
And I know that certainly upon requests, we would be able to provide a large print copy of that's a quick and easy conversion to do. And my
Oh no,
question,
that's already done on the website.
so they do large print
Yeah.
versions?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can click it and it'll change all the fonts on most of the websites. And then I don't know how that works though with the PDFs, but I'd have to figure that out.
Okay. It's still not the large print, everything should be left justified and the spacing should be different. There's very specific
Mhm.
req things that should be done to a document to make it be, readable.
Yep.
But that's something that we can discuss as a group if we should start posting, um, a physical if we're posting the minute, should we also post a, um, large print version of it?
Well, yeah, let me figure out if the PDFs, if the website has the ability to, when the PDF comes up, if it's able to actually adjust that too, which I
Okay.
think it can. I think it can.
That's cool.
I'll confirm that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. They have a bunch of accessible features. So when you're on the town's website, if you bop to in corner, if you go there, it'll show you the. Trying to go there right now as I'm talking to you. It should have an accessibility feature. Yeah, so if you go to the bottom of any of the pages, there's a little blue guy that says explore your accessibility options. So
Okay.
it does animation, it does changing of fonts, changing of text sizes, zooming in on certain things helps you to focus on certain stuff, changes contrast for the folks that have the contrast thing. So it does all those different pieces.
Okay.
So they have they call it the visual toolkit. That's what they call it. And then there's also a issue where if you need help on something, you can click and that will come through to myself and to Jen.
Well, that's great news.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But I think that's all I have. I don't have anything else that's new. Is that enough?
Well, that wealth of information this evening, Bill. Really appreciate it.
Oh, no worries. Happy to help.
Bill, did you see the question that was discussed at the last meeting in regard to the potential of switching an accessible
Side.
parking spot from one side of the street to the other?
Yep. So I
And
sent a response to Marie.
Okay.
So that goes through that starts through the traffic advisory committee.
Okay.
And I am the chair of that committee. So we would
And
typically go through the process to have it at a meeting. We make a recommendation to the town council. Then the town council has to adopt it as a regulation, and that's how it switches. Timing of all of that will be well beyond the time that we can paint, so it would be a paint spring thing. But I'm happy to move it forward with the next meeting that we have. Right now, I don't have anything for the November agenda yet,
Mhm.
so I'm thinking my next meeting will probably be in December.
And I thought about this, and tell me if I'm mistaken.
Mhm.
This really only applies to one-way streets because
Um,
you're the driver's side is always closest to the curb when you park. You can't turn your car around and park it the opposite way. If it's a one-way street, it makes complete sense. So that
mhm,
if the concept is if the driver pulls up to the curb
mhm,
and into the accessible spot,
mhm,
and the passenger is the person that needs access, that passenger is now leaving, especially a van, especially if there's a ramp,
mhm.
or, if you've got the lift out of it, they're going directly into the street versus but at all time if you move the spot to the other side of the street, the person's gonna have to approach it the opposite way, and the driver is still going to be on the curbside. This
Yeah,
really only applies to one-way streets.
yeah. So the guidelines from the public accessibility the public right-of-way accessibility guidelines has a
Mhm.
section on, you know, on-street parking and
Mhm.
requirements for that. I mean, ideally they want like the little 5-foot around it, but in order for that to happen, you need like a 60-foot, 70-foot right-of-way. You can't really make
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
work, you know, and even in our scenario, there's no good solution, right?
Well, I
That's
think
what
that
you're
what
gonna run into.
this person was saying that if it's on a one-way street and, the driver is now on the left side of the street, if that's where the spot is located, if you move
Mhm,
that spot to the right side of the street,
mhm,
you'd still be approaching it from the same direction, so
mhm.
but then the passenger, access would be to the sidewalk. So,
Yep,
literally just moving it from one this get rid of it on one side of the street or have
right.
both, because you have drivers who are the person who uses a wheelchair. I have friends in wheelchairs that are drivers,
Mhm.
and so they might need the sidewalk on their side, and sometimes you need the sidewalk on the passenger side, so it would be.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's an interesting one. Because I think you can look at it both ways, right?
Mhm.
No space is gonna be able to fix both of those issues.
No, no,
You
and
know?
it's literally only a question if it's a one-way street, because you can't have, you know,
Yeah.
somebody facing the opposite direction, parking, turning around and parking backwards on the other side
Yeah.
of the street.
So we were looking at Lafayette, right? Not Lafayette,
Is it
Common
common?
Street, right?
Common
Yeah.
street,
So if you
yes.
did that, because we have one at the corner of Lafayette as well,
Mhm,
that's the driver's side on the curb, right? So I
right.
think it makes sense to go on the other route. So this way you have a selection between them, right?
It
If
would
you
be
can get
great to have
one of
one
the
on each
spaces, that would make,
side.
to me, that makes sense. So,
So that would be so, and especially because that's a very, pardon the pun, common area for folks to be
yeah.
using, and, that's where so many events and are that happen in Wakefield, and it's also very accessible to downtown. It's pretty
Mhm.
close to downtown, it's close to Town Hall, it's, at the Common, so that particular place, it would be great to have 2 spots, 1 on each side. I never entered my mind that having one on the other side would be an important thing, but I think it
Right.
is.
Yeah, the cool thing I think for us is that we have two one ways that, you know, we are parking on different sides, so that would give you the options, and that's definitely a benefit. So people can make a decision on what is better for them. So yeah, I'm definitely supportive of it. I don't expect any issues with it. It's just the timing of getting on the TAC meeting and then in front of the town council. That's the only issue, you know. So by the time we get all those approvals, we would not be in a position to paint it because we'd be in the middle of December and obviously paint freezes, so that does not work for us.
I think that if getting it, on the agenda and getting everything ready and then
Yeah.
just plan it for when it's warm enough.
Okay. Yeah, I'll see. So if I get one other request right now, typically I like to have a few items so that we're not just, you know, having one item and everybody meets. So it'll be probably December at this point because I haven't heard from anybody, and typically I'm giving notice by now to the group to let them know about the November meeting. So we'll be on hold, I think, until December. But I'll keep you guys in the loop. If somebody wants to swing into the meeting, you're more than welcome. They're 9 a.m. on Friday or 8:30 a.m. on Fridays, typically. And it has myself, Public Works directors on it, town administrators on it. We have Dan and Lois on it as your rep. And then we have, who else do we have? We have an at-large member. We have a member of the police department. So between all of those folks, those are the folks that help to make those decisions.
So we could connect with Dan and Lois once,
Yeah,
hopefully Lois is,
yeah,
you know,
doing well.
up and running.
Yeah, good one.
And then we can, ask them to bring it up as the reps
Yeah, yeah.
from the.
Or if they're not able to make it to the meeting again, you folks can, if you want to send a separate rep, I think that's fine too.
Okay,
You know.
thank you.
Yeah. All right. Aside from that, anything else? We got anything else?
Nope, I think you're probably free to go there, Bill.
Well, that sounds good. I will go.
And
All
thank you
right.
very, very much for all your information and
Sure.
patience in explaining things to us. Greatly
Oh,
appreciate
That's what I'm
it.
here for. Right. Awesome, guys. Right. Have a great evening. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, you too.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, so, there's, next on the agenda actually would be the discussion of activities and food for the Diverse Abilities Game Night. First, I'd like to ask Nico if, had it been presented to the youth council and what was their,
Sorry.
sure, go ahead.
I've brought it up. People are very open to it. Because it's high school and people have a lot of stuff to do. I don't know about them attending, but I know there's going to be kids from the high school. I've had friends that are very open about coming. I haven't really gotten in contact with the best buddies yet, but ideally I sent it to the person that ran social media after last youth council meeting. I'm waiting for that to get posted. I am ideally going to go to either Mr. Robinson, Miss McLeod, or one of the admin to get my poster approved. Well, not my poster, but the poster approved and on the announcement so that we can have it for this week.
Oh, that's very good. Very good. Thank you.
But I am very excited to see all of this happen because it's really been a passion project and I'm really hoping it goes through.
It's a great idea, Nico.
Thank
It
you.
is. It's a really great idea.
I
And,
tipped off the boys and the Best Buddies programs at the Galvin in high school. I hope I wasn't stepping on toes, but I did have their contact from the past because they had reached out to me about like the soccer and the baseball that I run. So once I had that flyer, I sent it out to the contacts that I had for both places. So they're aware of it, Nico, in case
Oh, thanks.
you could still close that loop and speak with them as you'd like. I didn't want you to think that that was a missed opportunity, though.
Oh, no. It's fine. Because I remember reading something about Best Buddies. I was just double checking.
Yep.
But if that's sent out, then I think we're pretty good. I just have to get it on the announcements and that. I just haven't been able to find Miss McLeod or anyone, so that's unfortunate. That's it
Well,
for me.
it sounds like it's gonna be a really fun time. Judy, do you want to report on all the things that you have been, up to with the Boys and Girls Club and?
Yes, so if anybody would like to join me, because we need to access the building. So I have made arrangements for Friday, which is November 7th at 11 a.m. And we have a meeting with the Boys and Girls Club. And so I will be going because we need to learn about how to get in the building and how to secure the building when we're done. So would anybody like to come with me on Friday, November 7th at 11 a.m.?
Let me just grab my calendar and, I think that I'd be able to do that, but. hold
Okay,
on.
great.
So I'm not sure that I could do that, Judy, but I can dedicate some time to show early on the day of the 9th in order to assist with setup and make sure that we're ready to hit the ground running when folks arrive.
Great.
I can be there whatever time you want on the 9th and stay as late as needed. I'm good at cleanup.
Okay, Judy, I can meet you there on the 7th, you said, 11 o'clock?
Yeah, Friday, November 7th
Mhm.
at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Mhm.
That would be great. And then we can meet with the Boys and Girls Club. We can ask any last minute questions. And then the most important part of the meeting is to access the building and to make sure that we are securing the building after we're done with it. Now, speaking of the setup, so what time? So the event is from 1:30 to 3:30 on Sunday, the 9th. So what time do you think we should want to be there? Is an hour ahead enough? What do we want to do?
How about noon?
You want to get there at noon? Okay. So I will let them know that we would like to access the building at noon. We'll talk to them on Friday when we meet, but
Will we really need an hour and a half before it opens up?
Maybe not, but just in case there's anything to move, things to move around and, or anything to clean up. So people can drift in. Do you think we need that much?
I think 12:30 is good enough,
Okay.
but
All right.
I'm
let's do
willing
12:30.
to. You want to do
Let's do-
12:30? Because that would give us a full hour. I think that would be enough. And then because the Inspire Cafe would need to set up whatever they're going to set up. We need to figure out where that's going to be and obviously keep everything as clean as we can. And then we talked about having the karaoke. I'm assuming that that doesn't take a lot of time to set up. Yeah. And they've already showed us the spot to set it up. There's a little stage, very little stage. I'm not really aware of a lot of other setup. I would assume that if any of us have games that we want to bring, I heard somebody mention like a big, huge Jenga game. You mentioned that. Do you have it or?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about maybe 3 feet high.
Okay, so, and you can bring that?
Yep.
All right. And then Marie was coordinating getting the cornhole over there, which it may be there by the, I would assume they're going to deliver it at some point this week. So we'll have to check on that too.
Who is she getting it from?
She was getting it from the Boys and Girls Club, but not that one. I think that it's one of the
Oh, the one
other
in Stoneham?
ones, and they needed to deliver it. If I'm not mistaken, that's what I think she had in mind.
Yeah, probably the one from Stoneham then.
Yeah, that's what I think. So when we meet on Friday, we'll need to see if that's there. And if it's not there, how we get it there. And if it really doesn't get there, we'll have to figure out how to get another one, which I'm sure one of us has one. But it would be, I think it would be easiest if we use the one that belongs to the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
I mean, the the pool table's already there. And then there's a ping pong table that I didn't see the equipment for that when I went over. So I asked if that was something that we could also utilize. And they said we could. So that's another thing I got to put on my list. I got to find out where that ping pong equipment lives because I just didn't see it. It's probably right there. And then they've got some board games, table games there. So we could probably just look through those and see if anything looks appropriate. And then is there anybody else who has some sort of a table game they wanted to bring?
I'll give it some thought and look around here to
Yeah,
see
it
what
would
comes
have to
up.
be something kind of, not like a Monopoly type of thing, but
Right.
like an Uno or, which I don't have an Uno, but what?
Dominoes. Does
If you
anybody?
have
I
some,
have
yeah,
dominoes too.
that might be fun. Yeah. Yeah, if you could bring your dominoes. And then if anybody else has anything that they think would be appropriate for the event. And then, like I say, Lorna, while we're there, we could just take a look at what they have for table
Mhm.
games and ask if we could use specific ones. They
Mhm.
seemed very open to us accessing, those types of things, so. All right, and then Nico, was there anything else specifically that you would like to see at the event?
No, I think what everything that we've talked about and that you guys have gone over is exactly how I envisioned it. I truly mean that. And thanks for everything.
Okay. All right, so Lorna, we'll meet up on Friday, November 7th, 11 a.m. It should be very quick. We'll have any questions that what we have in mind. The restrooms are right there, so that won't be an issue. And then I don't know the answer to this, but I'm assuming that the Inspire Cafe would bring whatever is necessary for the cleanup after if something gets spilled, or do we need to somehow figure that one out?
I can bring some cleaning supplies. And may sound a little bit weird, but I was going to bring cleaning supplies to make sure the bathroom is clean. That's what I do for the library book sale. I'm the bathroom cleaner.
Okay,
So I will bring things, could be that it's something that doesn't get cleaned until Monday morning and so I'll bring
sure.
cleaning supplies.
Okay, I'll make a note of that too.
Judy, is the popcorn machine coming from the Boys and Girls Club too?
So I personally didn't think that was a great idea.
Okay.
I wasn't encouraging that. I
Mhm.
feel like that's a lot of cleanup waiting to happen.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's true.
so my personal thought is the slush, the cider, and the lemonade will be enough to clean up. It's
Um,
kind of
I'm
sticky.
gonna pick up a big box of pretzels, in the individual
Yeah.
packets, because not
That's good.
everybody likes slush, or maybe, they'd
Yeah.
like to have something that they can actually crunch on.
Yeah, yeah. I
So,
think that's good.
I'll be going to probably go to BJ's maybe on Friday morning, and so I have them
Mhm.
for, oh yeah,
And
God,
then
I'm
Marie
excited.
said she was going to grab a case of water
Perfect.
and bring that. So yeah, I mean, especially where we're using like their pool table and whatnot, I think the less is better. Because yeah, we're not really focusing on the food as much as the games.
I don't think that it would be wrong for us to say no liquids or foods on the pool table, or if you're playing pool, you need to step off and go someplace else to have your drinks and everything else, because,
Yeah,
just
I
to see
totally
something
agree.
happen to the pool table.
So, you might remember the photo that I showed, and it's kind of like two separate areas.
Yeah.
So the area that has the tables and chairs, that's the area we want to keep anything consumable.
Mhm.
And then the other area, which it's open, but it's a different area, has the pool table and the ping pong table. And yes, we don't want to have people back and forth with liquids, and especially like sticky slush and that kind of thing, or because we're responsible for this building.
Right.
So it's going to be important, I feel, for us as the caretakers not only of the event, but also of this resource that they have been nice enough to allow us to utilize, that we really need to be caretakers too of their supplies. We don't want their games to get ruined. So I do think that we should have an area of the space for snacks and then keep other things separate.
Yeah, we can kind of check out the lay of the land again when we see it Friday.
Yes,
to
and
be
even
set.
with Inspire, I would like to see them, we can talk about this on the day of the event with them, or maybe Marie can touch base, but I would like to see them do very small serving sizes, because people can go back and get more, but for yourself, if you get this great big slush, what are you going to do? Then you're going to sit there and eat it. And, then you're not going to be using the pool table and the ping pong table and all the other things. I would rather have them do very, very small serving sizes and have people go back and get more if they want.
Two quick questions, please. I got to run, unfortunately, at I guess we're a little bit fast. The one of them is when you have the meeting on Friday, could you please ask if it's okay for us? I assume there's a flat screen TV there because I'll be able to like project words or something for karaoke on
I
that.
did not see
You
one.
didn't? Okay. All right. I can let me think about what that'll entail.
I will look.
Okay. Thanks for that. And then the other thing I guess I would say is I assume we've all been great communicators with email so far, as long as I've been on the commission. That'll work for everybody continuing like through the weekend, because I'll check often, you know what I mean? But I'll also offer my phone number in case anybody wants to text with something last minute, particularly over the weekend. But I will look at all my emails and assume folks will do the same if we need to get in touch with one another.
So with karaoke, if there's no screen there, is that going to be a problem?
I can have a
Or
laptop or something.
Yeah.
I can improvise, but it'll
I
be,
think that's probably better.
that's fine. But if you wouldn't mind while you're there on Friday, just find out if there's something available.
We can
But,
find a
if
flat
it's not,
wall.
yeah, I can figure something out. Okay.
Do we want to bring some big newsprint and tape it up to a wall? Just blank newsprint and then project it onto that?
Let me think about that, and then
Okay.
I'll queue up whatever questions I've got for Judy and Lorna to take with them to Friday's meeting. But
Okay.
because I have,
Right.
believe it or not, I have one of those old like this what used to project slide projectors on, you know what I mean? I do have a screen that I can use in a pinch, so I'll give it some thought.
Yeah, and just be aware the little stage area, it's extremely little.
Sure, that's fine, because
And
I
it's
wouldn't
not
want
like
it to.
somebody is going to come up and join you there. So that's
Yeah,
going to
I wouldn't want it to
weird.
dominate the room anyway. Like it could be just something that somebody's doing on the side that doesn't interfere with what the rest of the folks are doing that day. So
All right.
sounds good.
So the only other thing I would say is, Lorna, while we're talking about, bye,
Thanks,
Paul.
folks.
While we're
Thanks, Paul.
talking about the snacks, when you do touch base with Marie, because she seems to be the contact for Inspire, can you suggest that the serving size, whatever glasses and things that they're bringing, are extremely small individual sizes, not like a big
I'll probably be doing a run into Inspire tomorrow anyhow, so I can try to check with Nancy. I think is on tomorrow.
Okay.
And if they don't have small cups and they need us to bring small cups, I'd be happy to do that.
I might have a ton of them down in my basement that haven't been used and have out of the.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Way to get.
I'd like to know what we're doing as far as chaperones.
Check-in?
Yeah.
Oh, chaperones, you said.
Chaperones.
Okay.
chaperones or whatever
Are
we
we,
want to call
are
them.
we the chaperones?
Yeah, I think we
so.
are. I mean, if anybody has anybody who wants to come and volunteer for the event, I think that would be appropriate. And then I know on the flyer it said, you know, if anybody wants to stay, they're
Right,
welcome.
parent wants to say, right.
But I think it's us.
And the flyer, I just wanted to, because I wasn't at, but I watched the last meeting, that the flyer went out as had been discussed at the previous meeting for middle school and older, just FYI.
That's
So I
fine.
think there are going to be potentially some middle school kids where the parents, it's appropriate for the parents to,
Yeah.
most appropriate for the parents to stay, but they would be very, very welcome.
Sure. I'll probably try to rope my husband into coming. And then he can help you know, with the cleanup too at the end. We do need some trash bags because we don't want to leave any trash there.
I can bring trash bags too.
That would be great.
I'm usually the paper goods person in my family because they don't like my cooking. So,
Okay, so you're gonna bring cleaning products, you're
trash
gonna bring
bags,
trash bags, and you're gonna bring the large
for
Jenga.
Jenga. Yep.
All right, and then Lorna, you're going to bring the dominoes. You're going to bring the little cups, or find out if Inspire can bring little cups.
Yeah.
And then you said that you were interested in bringing some little bags of pretzels.
Yeah.
And then Marie is bringing the water. And then Paul will bring the karaoke. I mean, I can't really think of anything else that we specifically need.
We do need to figure out sort of a check-in space so that we get people's names, and we talked about getting names and email.
So there's a desk right at the entrance.
Mhm.
So I think that we could easily, I probably should have somebody there.
Okay.
Yeah,
We can rotate through that if we want. The other thing is that I have some door prizes. I had mentioned that.
oh, right, the door prizes.
So that if we're getting people's names, we can make a list, cut it up, put it in, you know, a bowl, and then have somebody pick winners. So there are 5. Right now there are 5. I totally forgot that Inspire's not open on Mondays when I went today. So there are 5 gift certificates right now, and I'd like to get a couple more from Inspire, but I have to wait till they're open.
Okay, and then, so to just make it easy, will you bring whatever it is you want people to fill out?
Yep.
Okay. All right, good. Okay. So let's just go over this one more time so that we're all on the same page. So Paul is bringing the karaoke and whatever he needs. I really don't think there's a TV there, but we can look, Lorna. And then Janice is bringing the large Jenga, the trash bags, the cleaning products, the gift cards, and then whatever people need to sign up for the door prize.
Yep.
And then Lorna is bringing the dominoes, the little bags of pretzels, and the little cups, or organizing the little cups through Inspire. Is there anything else that we're missing?
Probably be good if we brought napkins.
You don't think Inspire has that?
I'm not sure. I could always check tomorrow, but
I can do that.
Okay,
I
so
love to do
yeah,
paper goods.
okay. And yes, So Inspire might have that too, but that is a good idea. Okay. I think we're all on track. So Lorna, I'll meet you there Friday at 11. And if Maria's back and wants to come, she's certainly welcome.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if she's due back Tuesday or Wednesday or sometime this
Okay.
week.
All right. Well, anyway, if you can just let Marie know that we're going to be there Friday at 11.
Mhm.
And if she wants to come, she is welcome. If she doesn't have time, that's fine. I think that you'll be very impressed with the space. They've really done a good job over there. I think it will work out well. All right, and thank you again, Nico, for the idea, and
Yeah.
we'll have a wonderful time.
I
Yeah.
look forward to seeing you all. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Nico, for, suggesting us doing this. I think it's an excellent idea.
It was
I look forward to
my
seeing how
pleasure.
much fun everybody's going to have.
Thank you.
So actually, that we're down to just 3 of us. We should probably hold off on discussions of what our next goals should be.
It sounds like our next goals will be that area around the gazebo,
Mhm.
honestly. Because
And finding another person.
yeah,
We need.
it looks like that's going to be might take quite a while to get whatever approvals that needs, but I agree with you, Janice. We need to start to discuss that probably with
Yeah.
the Friends group and
Mhm.
anybody else that Bill feels is important to know about that.
Right.
And I think if we get
Um,
friends on board, that's a really strong ally.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
So
right.
they're a strong, hardworking group.
Yeah,
I send my donation into them every year, or membership, whatever fee, whatever it is every year, but never get a chance to actually participate in anything they do, because it's always a time where, I've got to be driving somebody I know
Mhm.
to a sporting event. So I mean, just,
well, hopefully they'll come to the December meeting, and that would be a good opportunity
yeah,
to
because I used to know the president
chat with
used to
the
be
group.
Bill Conley, another Bill Conley, spelled different than Conley than we are. He was a Conley. His son Andrew was in the same graduating class as my kids. He was an excellent basketball player and soccer player. Anyhow, Bill Conley seemed to have been the president for a very long time, but I think that he has stepped down from that. I think he
Mhm. Mhm.
did his due diligence.
And Judy, I think it was a great idea to invite them to our meeting, kind of like come on into our house.
Yeah.
And, I think that they can, it would be great to have their input and their support. That will really help. I think it would really help at town council in moving this forward.
Well, and especially because these meetings are recorded and put onto the website, so everybody can participate that way too.
Yep.
And it sounds like this will be a number of talks maybe. So maybe follow-ups after that, but this would kind of be the initial
Mhm.
initial
And
little.
it could be that they have ideas about a different way to orient the circle that goes around it, or they've
Yeah.
got I'm very willing to hear design ideas from folks. And
Yeah.
by the way, when the last meeting occurred and it was presented with the long backside pathway going down, as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking like, "Oh my goodness, we don't need that." And then that's the first thing you said was, "We don't really need that." And that cut the price in half. So also important to for that. But I'm very excited about the concept of this. I think it will make a really big difference to
Yeah.
folks, to anybody. It's universal access,
Yeah.
has universal appeal to people with anything that has wheels, a walker, with wheels or without wheels, carriages, all kinds of things. So It's a good idea.
Definitely.
It's a very good idea.
Yeah,
Thank
I was very happy with it and with the plan that they have in place. I think it's great. Yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, that should be our next goal.
I agree.
And I do think once the high school is open and the vocational school is open, there may be other discussions that, take place similar to what happened when it was all in the planning stages. I don't know.
And given that the Voc School is now actually going to be accessible because it has not been for
No, it hasn't been.
ever. So
Yeah.
it's never been accessible. It's going to be fully accessible. And sometimes harp back to that discussion that we had with the superintendent talking about the percentage of students that have IEPs that are attending the Voc Tech. And this is going to open up the world to people with a wide range of other
Definitely.
disabilities
Yes.
and abilities. So so I'm excited about it, but sort of like I kind of feel like the gazebo issue is a little bit of quote unquote a no-brainer, but it was just never entered into our consciousness before this, and I'm not really sure why, because it's really I think it's an excellent idea.
Great.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Well, thank you for listening. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. I think anything else,
No,
Lorna?
I just wanted, Janice, when you check to see when you're going to go to Winchester or where we're going to go in Winchester, let me know, see if I can get that into my schedule.
Okay. And I'll CC, want me to CC you in the message to Jonathan?
Sure.
All
That'd
right.
be great.
Hopefully he's still there.
I know it. I know it.
He's
He's
just
such a wealth
really,
of
really good.
information.
And he will, I believe, know about this. And Bill's going to let us know where it is, I think, because
Is he gonna
otherwise
let
we'll
us
just
know?
be wandering around Winchester looking for it
I know. I know.
aimlessly. All right.
Right. Okay. Well, have a great
Yay.
week. We'll see you all on Sunday.
I'll see you Sunday.
Yeah, and I'll see you on Friday, Lorna. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lorna, for
So
running.
it is 8:17. Does somebody want to suggest the meeting is closed?
I guess that will be me.
Okay.
And
So
I will
Judy
second it.
and okay, great.
Thanks, Lorna.
Okay.
Bye,
bye-bye.
Judy. Thank you.
Bye-bye.